got it for 52 bucks. $52.
I now have a laundry chute that goes all the way down into the basement.
Imagine stepping into a home where every detail is a glimpse into the past, echoing the bold innovation and charming quirks of a decade that shaped the way we live today. The 1930s was a time when technology was pushing boundaries, design was taking daring risks, and homeowners were introducing features that seemed ahead of their time. From rooms designed with a touch of opulence to gadgets that were the cutting edge of convenience, the 1930s were full of surprises. So, join us as we dive into 25 unbelievable 1930s home features that have faded into history. Back in the 1930s, cleaning your home was about to get a whole lot easier, thanks to the innovative built-in vacuum cleaner. This was no ordinary vacuum. It was a central vacuum system installed right into the home.
Central vacs are easy to use, they do a great job, and they're very powerful.
With pipes running through the walls, connecting each room to a central unit, often located in the basement or attic. Imagine just plugging in a hose to an outlet in any room, and voila! No more lugging around a heavy vacuum cleaner or constantly switching outlets. This feature was seen as revolutionary, offering homeowners both convenience and cleanliness. Today, this system is gone, replaced by lighter, portable vacuums. But in the 1930s, it was a luxury common in middle to upper-class homes. While hidden vacuums kept homes tidy, another centerpiece brought families together in a way no appliance could. Before the days of streaming music or binge-watching shows on television, the radio was the center of entertainment in most households. In the 1930s, radio consoles were massive, beautifully crafted pieces of furniture, designed to blend seamlessly into the living room's decor. These consoles weren't just about listening to music or news.
Bill code 38-4, bill code 71, bill code combo console.
They were part of the atmosphere, a status symbol, and an essential part of social gatherings. Families would gather around these radios, listening to everything from comedy shows to live broadcasts of important events. Fast forward to today, and most of us hardly use radios at all, relying on our phones or streaming services. It's hard to believe that the big wooden radio console once took the spotlight in living rooms across America. No, we're not talking about someone who doesn't say much. This dumbwaiter was a tiny elevator system designed to carry food, laundry, or other items between floors in a multi-story home. Popular in the 1930s, dumbwaiters were built into the walls and used a pulley system to lift small loads up and down. It was an absolute luxury feature in homes, especially for multi-story houses, making life just a little easier by saving time and energy.
Just the push of a button, your Ameriglide Express dumbwaiter will quickly transport the load to the upper floors of the building.
Imagine being able to send a plate of food up to a second-floor dining room without the need to walk upstairs. These clever contraptions have since faded from many homes, replaced by modern elevators or, sadly, just the good old-fashioned stairs. But for a time, a dumbwaiter was as commonplace as a dishwasher is today. It might sound like something out of an old movie, but in many 1930s homes, there were actual servants' quarters, a separate living space for domestic help, often located above the kitchen or in the attic. These rooms were usually modest, small, and sparsely furnished, providing the help with a place to sleep, eat, and rest after a long day's work. The presence of such quarters signified a home of wealth and stature.
The temperature of each subject to the whims of the weather offer dismal alternatives for the servant.
Where there was enough income to support live-in help. However, as times changed and societal norms evolved, servants' quarters became less common, particularly after World War II, when domestic work became less structured and more about hired help daily rather than live-in servants. Before the age of sleek electric mixers, whipping up a batch of pancakes or a cake batter required some serious elbow grease. The hand-crank egg beater was a staple in 1930s kitchens, a clever contraption with rotating metal beaters powered by a side crank. Housewives and home bakers relied on this simple yet effective tool to whisk eggs, mix batters, and blend ingredients, all with the rhythmic motion of turning the handle. It was a test of patience and endurance, especially for recipes requiring prolonged mixing. Though revolutionary for its time, the hand crank beater gradually faded into obscurity as electric mixers took over in the 1950s. Today, it's more of a vintage collectible than a kitchen essential, but its old-fashioned charm still brings a nostalgic smile to those who remember using one. Some kitchen gadgets of the 1930s required muscle power, but could home innovation of the era have also delivered unexpected comfort in ways that might surprise you? It's hard to believe, but radiant floor heating, a modern luxury many of us now seek in homes, was popular in some 1930s houses. This heating method used hot water or steam circulated through pipes embedded in the floors to warm rooms from the ground up.
Heating tubes will expand and contract as they heat up and cool off, and this mix is specially formulated to resist cracking during that process.
It was considered both efficient and luxurious, especially for homes in colder climates. The 1930s saw this system installed in some high-end homes, making it one of the earliest attempts at modern home comfort technology. Fast forward to today, radiant floor heating has made a comeback, but back then it was a rarity that only a few could afford. Although home elevators might sound like something you'd find in a mansion today, they were quite popular in the 1930s, especially in multi-story homes with elderly residents or large families. These early home elevators were often small, narrow, and operated manually. Using a pulley system or even a crank to move the lift. Though not as sleek or automated as today's models, these elevators were a luxury feature designed to make life easier. As more modern and efficient lifts became available, however, the old-fashioned home elevators became outdated and were phased out. In the 1930s, if you were feeling overwhelmed, you might not just collapse onto a regular couch, you'd recline on a fainting couch. These elegant pieces of furniture were designed for reclining, usually in a dramatic fashion, and were commonly found in upper-class homes. The fainting couch, often a small, low chaise lounge, was a symbol of grace and sophistication.
Just kind of show you a way that, you might be able to set this up in your own home, how these pieces might work out well together.
A place to lie down when you felt a bit faint or just wanted to relax in style. However, as times changed and people's habits evolved, the fainting couch gradually disappeared. Nowadays, if we need to relax, we're more likely to reach for a comfy sofa or a recliner, not a piece of furniture that seems like it was made for a scene in a classic novel. As the fainting couch vanished, another 1930s staple embraced bold, modern design: the kitchen. Kitchens in the 1930s were known for their bold, geometric shapes and high-gloss finishes, typical of the Art Deco movement that influenced architecture and design during the era. With sleek chrome appliances, streamlined cabinetry, and intricate patterns on the floors and walls, these kitchens were like works of art, designed to be both functional and visually stunning. While Art Deco was very much a symbol of luxury and modernity, by the mid-20th century, taste had shifted toward more practical, minimalist designs. Today, you'd be hard-pressed to find a kitchen that still embraces the opulent flair of the 1930s. Before the 1930s, washing clothes was a strenuous task that involved a lot of hand-washing and scrubbing. But then came the electric washing machine, a game-changer for household chores. These early models weren't the sleek front-load washers we know today. Instead, they were bulky, mechanical machines with rollers that helped wring out clothes. The machines worked wonders, especially in households with larger families, and it wasn't long before these machines became household essentials in the 1930s. Yet, over time, they evolved into the more efficient, quieter, and smaller machines we use today. Imagine walking into a home in the 1930s and being greeted by massive, floor-to-ceiling windows that opened up to breathtaking views of the outside world.
The openings of the windows turned out to be very nice.
These were called picture windows, and they were all the rage during that era. The idea was simple: to create a frame for nature, offering unobstructed views and allowing natural light to flood into the home. With their clean lines and expansive glass panes, picture windows became a signature feature of modernist homes and Art Deco designs. They were typically used in living rooms, giving homeowners a panoramic view of their surroundings. Over time, however, larger and more practical window designs became the norm, and picture windows, although still used in some homes, faded as a primary architectural feature. Now, picture windows brought the outside in. But how did homeowners in the 1930s make the most of their indoor space? Back in the 1930s, people were all about making the most out of every inch of their homes. One of the coolest inventions that came out of this was the spinning table cabinet. Picture this, a cabinet with a built-in table that could spin around. It was like having a dining table, desk, or reading spot all in one. You could spin it to whatever spot you needed.
It's more open, so everyone talks to everyone rather than just the person you're next to. So,
perfect for meals, working, or just relaxing with a book. Think of it like a convertible sofa, but instead of flipping cushions, you were rotating a whole table. Super smart, right? As time went on, especially in the 1940s and 50s when homes started getting smaller and sleeker, people moved away from these nifty rotating pieces of furniture in favor of more permanent stationary setups. But still, how cool was that idea? The 1930s were a time when leisure and entertainment were considered essential in the home, and one of the best places to entertain guests was in a sunroom with a built-in bar.
It came out very nice, if I say so myself. Tell me what you think from a 1 to 5. I'm going to give it a 5.
These bright, airy spaces were designed to let in as much sunlight as possible, and they often featured intricate woodwork, plush furniture, and, of course, a bar for serving drinks. The sunroom was considered the ultimate space for relaxation, socializing, or enjoying a quiet moment with a cocktail. Fast forward to today, and while sunrooms still exist, the built-in bar concept has mostly faded. The more formal dining room or home theater has taken precedence in many homes. Before spa tubs and modern whirlpool bathtubs, there were the electric home jacuzzis of the 1930s.
Shoulders and back, from stimulating full coverage to bold pressure, can be found throughout this midsize hot tub.
These early versions of hot tubs were essentially large, electrically powered bathtubs with built-in jets that would create swirling currents of water. They were considered a luxurious addition to any home, often installed in bathrooms or private patios. The technology was quite advanced for its time, offering homeowners a spa-like experience right at home. However, these early jacuzzis were often bulky and difficult to maintain, which made them a rarity in most homes. Over time, home jacuzzis became more refined and efficient, eventually leading to the popular models we use today. Although walk-in closets exist today in many homes, their origins trace back to the 1930s. Back then, these closets weren't just places to store clothes, they were luxurious spaces designed to help homeowners organize their wardrobes with style. Imagine a closet that not only had hanging rods but also built-in shelves and shoe racks to keep your footwear neatly stored. There were even mirrors to check your outfit before heading out. Over time, the designs of walk-in closets evolved to be more practical and efficient, but the 1930s version had that special touch of glamour that made dressing up feel like an event. If you've ever seen a fireplace that could be enjoyed from 2 rooms at once, you've probably been looking at a double-sided fireplace. Popular in the 1930s, these fireplaces were designed to open up to 2 adjoining rooms, allowing homeowners to enjoy the warmth and ambiance of a fire from multiple spaces. Think of it as a cozy way to connect living and dining areas, or even bedrooms and sitting rooms without losing that luxurious, open feel. While some modern homes still feature double-sided fireplaces, they've mostly faded in popularity due to changing home layouts and the demand for more energy-efficient heating methods. Meanwhile, another clever design from the era turned a common household feature into something both practical and stylish. Radiators were essential for heating in homes during the 1930s, but they were often considered unsightly. So, homeowners came up with the brilliant idea to hide them behind stylish radiator covers. Many of which doubled as built-in seating. These clever covers not only masked the bulky radiators but also provided additional seating in the home, making the most out of the available space. People often sat on these covers to take in the warmth they provided. As central heating systems became more efficient and radiator covers less necessary, this feature gradually disappeared, but it once served a very practical and creative purpose. The breakfast nook, an adorable and cozy corner built into the kitchen, was a favorite feature of the 1930s. These small, intimate spaces were designed for family breakfasts or casual meals, often with built-in benches or booths. The nook provided a comfy, out-of-the-way place to eat, often with a small table and window views that made mornings just a little brighter. With the rise of larger open-plan kitchens in later decades, the breakfast nook faded from view, replaced by larger dining areas or islands. Still, there's something special about the idea of having your own little space for breakfast that many people wish would make a comeback. In the 1930s, especially in urban areas, people were looking for ways to create their own green spaces. The solution? Roof gardens. Many homeowners, particularly in cities, transformed their flat rooftops into lush gardens, creating a sanctuary from the hustle and bustle below. These spaces were often filled with flowers, small trees, and even vegetable gardens. The idea was to bring nature into an urban environment and enjoy some fresh air without having to leave home. Today, roof gardens are still common in some cities but are much more associated with modern buildings and sustainability trends. Back in the 1930s, murals were a huge thing in homes, and they weren't just any ordinary decoration. These murals were often hand-painted by talented artists and could be anything from beautiful landscapes to stunning floral designs.
Just having that plan means that you won't become overwhelmed as you approach the walls.
They brought a whole new level of artistry to home, turning bare walls into eye-catching masterpieces. Imagine walking into a living room with a massive hand-painted scene of rolling hills or vibrant flowers. While today we still love wallpaper and painted walls, these custom murals have pretty much faded away. Why? Well, mass-produced wallpaper and decals took over because they were easier to make and less expensive. But honestly, there was something so magical about those 1930s murals that could transform an entire room into a work of art. It's a style that's hard to beat. But murals weren't the only way to add a touch of mystery and elegance to a home in the 1930s. In the 1930s, hidden compartments and secret rooms were a popular design feature in some homes. These hidden spaces were often used to conceal valuables, create secret passageways, or provide a sense of mystery and intrigue to a home. Some homes had sliding bookcases that led to hidden rooms, while others had cleverly concealed cupboards or compartments behind panels in the wall. These secret spaces were often included in luxury homes or homes built by wealthy families who wanted to add a touch of flair or even security. Today, while secret rooms still appear in some modern homes, the idea of hiding things in plain sight is much less common, as modern security systems and home designs no longer emphasize this element of secrecy. Before modern refrigerators, there was the icebox, an insulated box that relied on large blocks of ice to keep food cold.
You could buy ice boxes, same as you bought refrigerators. Now, they were.
In the 1930s, ice delivery services were common in urban areas, and icemen would bring large blocks of ice to homes regularly. The ice was stored in a compartment within the icebox, keeping perishables cool. This system had its flaws, like the constant need for ice and the potential for mess as the ice melted, but it was a necessary feature for homes before refrigeration technology caught up. Once home refrigerators became more affordable and efficient, the icebox system quickly became obsolete. Today, the term icebox might be used as a nostalgic nod to those old-fashioned ice-dependent days. Laundry chutes were a total game-changer in the 1930s, making the dreaded chore of laundry a bit easier to manage.
Just change, throw their laundry down the bin, and I can put it straight into the washer. No more running around the house trying to find all the dirty laundry.
Imagine this. You're upstairs, maybe in your bedroom or bathroom, and instead of hauling your dirty clothes all the way downstairs, you just drop them down a special chute. Yep, these vertical chutes sent laundry directly to the laundry room or basement below with minimal effort. It was like having your laundry elevator. This was especially handy in bigger homes where lugging laundry up and down stairs could take forever. Today, though, laundry chutes are pretty rare. While you might still find them in some older houses, most homes have moved on to more modern setups like dedicated laundry rooms and efficient storage spaces. Still, it's fun to think about how a little chute could make life a whole lot easier. Leaded glass windows were a hallmark of 1930s architecture, especially in homes with an Art Deco or Tudor-style design. These windows featured intricate patterns of lead strips that held together small panes often with colored glass or frosted designs. They were not just practical, they were pieces of art, adding elegance and charm to any home. Leaded glass windows provided privacy while still allowing natural light to filter through, creating a beautiful play of colors and light within the home. While they can still be found in some historic homes, leaded glass windows are not as prevalent today due to the expensive installation and the availability of modern window materials. Back in the 1930s, phones were not the portable devices we carry around today. Instead, they were fixed-line phones often housed in a small designated area of the home called a telephone nook. These cozy, private spaces typically featured a small table or shelf for writing notes and a chair where one could sit and chat for hours. Telephone books were placed in hallways, foyers, or bedrooms and were considered an essential feature in the pre-cell phone era. With the invention of mobile phones, these charming nooks slowly disappeared as the need for a dedicated space for phone calls became irrelevant. However, they stand as a quirky reminder of how the telephone was once the center of communication in the home.